Welcome to my Discord bot workshop. Today we're going to be covering how to make your very own Discord bot. Maybe you're familiar with Discord, maybe you're not, and that's absolutely fine. We'll be covering what a Discord bot is, how they're kind of useful, and what you might want to use them for. So without further ado, we'll get started. So who am I? I've got a track record for making quite a few stupid Discord bots that all of my friends and peers find amusing. However, now apparently I make them for events too. So I've made the announcement bot and selfie bot, which is what is used to get all the photos from the selfie channel, submit your selfie and your setup to be featured on our live stream. All for this for Hack Quarantine. I've also helped make announcement bots for other events like Hack Sheffield. So why Discord bots? Now, you can make all sorts of Discord bots, all sorts of things of it. If you can think of it, I imagine you can probably do it. I imagine a lot of you have already got pretty familiar with Discord, especially if you've been in the Hack Quarantine server for the last few weeks. So now we can, spice up your own personal Discord server with as many bots as you like. So we'll have a quick little show reel to show you what I've made and kind of show you roughly what we can do. So here's RapCod. RapCod was originally a hackathon project using SMS and phone calls to send a custom rap. The idea was that you would send it a word and it would then phone you with a rap about that word. Now, myself and Dan, also part of the Hack Quarantine, decided to integrate it into Discord. So now you can just use a Discord command to get sick raps in a voice channel, because this is something we really needed. And we've got Food Flex, my biggest Discord bot project to date. So I imagine cooking is quite new to a lot of you, and it definitely was for me when I was a fresher. What better way to learn to share your creations with your friends? I started creating this about a year ago when my friends wanted to show off their impressive cooking skills. I decided to spice it up a little bit by adding a competitive edge to it. Make of that what you will. Some could say it was very successful, some could say it's a little bit confusing. And to this day, myself and Dan from the Hack Quarantine Tech and AV team continue to develop it, adding features to get more people to flex their skills. So, let's make our own Discord bot. We're going to do this in Python using a few libraries to help us get the job done. These libraries will be discord.py, which is a nice Discord API wrapper, as well as pra, I don't know how you pronounce it. The Python Reddit API wrapper, I think is what I sound for. The total bot is going to be about 50 lines of code. It's going to be super straightforward. But before we can do, we need to get set up with the Discord API and the Reddit API so we can make our own bot. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do that. I'm going to press that button and we are going to open Google Chrome. So right now you should be able to see my Google Chrome tab. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to search Discord Developer API. Inside of here I'll be able to see my applications and I can go all the way down to all the Hack Quarantine bots. I'm going to create a new application. It's going to be a personal one. I'm going to call it Discord Bot Workshop. And we can add a photo. I'm not going to do that. And we can also add a description. That's pretty cool. Now, this is just an application. This isn't the actual bot. To create a bot, we have to go over to the left-hand side over here, click Bot, and then click Add Bot. Once I've done that, we now have a bot with a profile picture and everything, and we have a token. So what I'm going to do here is we can see the bot's got a bunch of permissions. We don't really care about any of this. What we care about is this token. Now, if I click Reveal Token, it gives us this wonderful thing here that we give to the Python API wrapper, and it will be able to start our Discord bot. For now, though, I'm just going to leave that there. I'm going to actually regenerate it, and it's going to hide it. No, it's not. Cool. If we go to OAuth 2, we can actually, this is how we add our Discord bot to our server. So if we go to Bot, and then copy. If we then paste this into a new tab, like so, Discord's going to ask us which server we'd like to add it to. Now, I actually created a Discord bot server already for this. Here it is, my Discord bot workshop. Welcome to my workshop, where, hey, there's nothing happening in here, so I'm going to just add it there, authorize, make sure I'm not a robot, and sometimes it asks for your two-factor authentication pin, but here we go. Discord Bot Workshop has joined your server, and you can see it's got that little bot tag next to it there. Let's just make that a little bit bigger. There we go. So now we've done that, we can now look at getting the Reddit API set up. Actually, first of all, we'll write some code, shall we? So first thing first, we'll create a folder and we're going to call this one Discord bot. And inside of here, we're going to create a init file and a main file. In the main file, we're going to do from dot. Actually, first of all, we need to have a file. We're going to call it bot.py. Keep it super simple. Inside of bot.py, oh, the terminal's massive. Inside of here, we're going to put from that import bot, and then we'll do a if I do main like that, we can do bot.main. We can basically tell it when we start the thing to run the main method in bot.py. Now we don't have anything in here, so let's create a main method like so. Actually, we can actually spice it up a little bit if you're so inclined. How are we gonna do this? Now, the idea is that we can basically, all this main method is going to do is it's going to run our bot. So we're going to do bot.run config. Well, actually, in here we put the token. This is where our token goes, but we haven't done anything with that yet. So now if I type this, I can import all of the imports I'm going to need, which is the Discord API wrapper, the command, so we can actually trigger it to do what we want. Import the config and import Reddit. So the idea is the Discord bot. I'm not going to tell you what it's going to do just yet. You'll have to wait and see, but it's going to be good. So we're going to import stuff like that, and then we can tell it to run our bot.token. Pretty straightforward. Now, there's a problem here. We haven't actually imported any of the libraries, so we're going to create a requirements.txt file, and that's going to be in the root like so. And inside of here, I'm going to put Discord. I'm going to put requests, Discord requests, pro, and pillow. So the idea is that we'll be able to do some stuff with Reddit, and we'll be able to do some stuff with Discord. Now, you'll find out why we're going to use Reddit a little bit later. Also, I'm going to add a new file called config, and the idea is this file is going to get the token that we're going to store in a JSON. So it's really important that when you're working with a Discord bot, that you don't reveal your token to the world, because that means other people can then run your bot and they can get it to do something malicious on your server. So we don't want to commit this change. We don't want to put this in the code. So in here, I'm going to simply put import JSON, and then I can tell it to open this file config.json. In fact, I'm going to call it we'll call it config.json as file creds equals json.load. So we need to have a JSON file now called config.json, and inside of here we're going to have a JSON that just has Discord token like so, and we can just give it our Discord token. So in fact, we have a Discord token. It's right here. I'm going to copy it, and I can paste it in right here. There we go. Now go back to bot, and inside of here what we can now do is config.creds, and we can go for the Discord token. So now what we've got is we've got a bit of code that we're going to start the bot up and do absolutely nothing. Before we can get too carried away though, we do need to set up a virtual environment. So we can what we're going to do is create a virtual environment so we can install our requirements, like so. And inside of here we can so I can activate the environment, like so, and then I can just do pip install -r requirements, and what that's going to do is it's going to install all of the requirements in that txt file. So once it's done that for us, cool. So now if I do python-m discord bot, it's gonna cry. Because the file Reddit doesn't exist. Let's just quickly make a Reddit file. There we go. What is not defined? So now what we've missed here is a crucial bit of information. So we need to actually tell it what the bot is. It's basically just an object where we give it a command prefix. So it means that if we use that symbol and then followed by a word, we can then trigger it to do stuff. So if I run it now, the bot's going to start, and we can see it's online now inside Discord. It doesn't actually do anything. I can type hello, and it doesn't do anything. Pretty boring. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add an onReady method. So what this does is basically it has this decorator called bot event, and it just basically means when the bot's ready, it's going to automatically call this method and say ready. I'm going to put ready HQ. So now if I run the bot, you'll see that it's all happy and it says ready HQ in there. All pretty nice. Now what we're going to do is actually get ready to do the next part, which is the picture. So here's a command where we've got a decorator that says it's a command, and we've got a description. So now I can actually put in the Discord channel and ask what's going on. It's going to ask me for a picture, and it's going to get the arguments. It's going to ask for the context of the, so it basically it gives it as an argument the context, and this contains the author, the time, what the message actually says, the attachments, literally anything to do with the message. So I can say the message itself, not the author, the message. I want to know what the actual content is, and I want you to split it up. So it means I can actually get the first item. So it will take the first argument, index 0, as the actual command picture, and then it will get the theme as the thing afterwards. So the idea is that we'll be like, if I do this, it'll be like picture and then cats. And the idea is that we can then know that the cats is what we want. Cool. So now we've done that, I'm going to just put a basic print statement in here that just says the theme. Okay, so if we now run this again, and I go over here and I type picture, it's not going to know what I meant. If I put cat, ooh, index out of range, ooh, I broke it. Oh yes, you can't edit them. If I do that, you'll see that it says cat. If I do it again for dog, you'll see it comes up with dog. So that's a way we can pass information to our Discord bot and then process it. Now, the next step is where things get a little bit interesting. So we actually need to work with the Reddit API. In order to do that, we need to set up a Reddit account, get API access, and once we've done that, we'll be able to access Reddit. So I already have access to the Reddit API over here, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do everything from scratch. So next on our list is we need to get, what we need to do now is actually tell it to get photos from Reddit. Now, there is a couple of ways we can do this. Let me just double check my notes. What we want to do is ask for the image. We basically ask for an image object where we tell the Reddit file that we've just made to call the method get subreddit image. We'll give it the theme so it knows what subreddit we're looking for, and then it will create a file and send the image as image.png. Sorry. So now if I go into the Reddit file, we need to import some Reddit stuff in here. So we can import the Reddit library and requests, which will allow us to get the image from a URL, bytes.io that will allow us to actually do something with the data, and the config file. Now we've done that, we'll be able to actually, let's make a Reddit object. So if I type Reddit equals, what this does is it will create a Reddit object, and it wants the Reddit client ID, the Reddit client secret, and the Reddit user agent. Now, we don't have any of those yet, but we'll come back to those and sort those out in a minute. What we can do is open our config.json and put in here, ooh, hello, what does it want? We want this, which is a string, I believe. So we'll just chuck that in there like so. Ooh, hello. There we go. We also want the Reddit client secret. And last of all, we want to get our hands on the Reddit user agent. Ooh, back to the config.json, and inside of here we can do that and ask it for those things. So now we've done that, we'll go back to the Reddit API in a minute. Now what we can do is actually make a subreddit object. So we can give it a really basic method here that's just subreddit. Actually, we'll put this inside of a function, shall we? We'll put this one called get subreddit, and we'll give it the argument name. So it's got subreddit, and it gives us a URL that has nothing in it. Now, if I type this, what's happening here is basically we're going to give the Reddit object the name, go please get us this subreddit, and then we're going to ask it to take, it's going to keep going through the subreddit until it finds one of the posts with a picture. The idea is we want to grab the first picture in that subreddit. It checks it doing subreddit submission.domain, and if it checks that it is equal to that, that means it contains a picture. Don't ask why, it just does. And then it will set that URL to the URL. So yeah, the idea is it starts with until the URL is equal to blank, while the URL is not, there is one, not one, it will just get it. It will get a for loop and it will go through and it will get one. Now what we're going to do after we've done that is in fact use, now we've got a response, we can use the request library to do a get request on that URL, and then use bytes.io to actually turn that into an image object. Now we've done that, we can return the image and it will hand it back over to here, where we can then send it into our Discord channel. So next on the list would be to get ourselves access to Reddit. So next what we want to do is we want to go to reddit.com/prefs/apps, like so. It's gonna, and in here we can create an application. When we create an application, we want to give it a name, so I'm going to call this HQ bot, and we want to tick. So once we've done that, what we can do is we're going to click the script box because we're making something a little bit different. Give it a description. This bot gets memes, and then in the redirect URL, we want to give it http ://localhost 8080. Now, once we've done that, we can click create script, and it gives us a nice secret here. So now we have the secret. We can put that in our config.json. This one here. Ta-da! And we also want to copy the API. Now the ID is this. It doesn't look like an ID, but it is. I think that's correct. Yes. Like so. And this can be, I'm going to call this my username. Doesn't really matter. So now if I run it again, we'll see if it works. What I can do now is do picture cat. And it's now really unhappy. Now, get subreddit image. Now, what did I call it? Get subreddit. Now, if I just add image to that, kill our Discord bot, and run it again. It says cat, which means it's doing the right thing. It's going to print the theme out, then it's going to ask Reddit for the thing. I've realized what's happened. So the idea is that if we just run that again, hang on. We just run the Python bot again, and I do. So what might happen is there might not be a subreddit with any cats or dogs. So if I do that, it will have a look, and then it sends us a picture of a cat. Now if I do it again, this time with picture.dankmemes, because I know that's a subreddit, it will post us another one. And we can go with any other suggestion. So I'm going to put in, what could I put? Discord. I'm sure that's one. That's not what I've done there is I've not included the command. There we go. Ooh, Yeah, I didn't know what Discord was. But there we go, it's now posted as Discord. We can do with Apple. See if we can get Apple. It can be a little slow. The API for Reddit's really quite slow actually. So once it gets the photo, Discord will handle it quite quickly, but there is only so much we can do with the Reddit API. It looks like there may not be anything for Apple. Let's try cats. Yep, what's happened here is it's basically just got stuck with the Reddit API. This is where you'll need to kill your terminal and try it again. But it can be quite a bit of fun. It can be quite a bit of fun just to like build a Discord bot that just you can then connect it to other services like Reddit. You can access it to stuff at work with like continuous integration. You can kind of do whatever you want really. So in that sense, it is really quite cool. We've used it at Hack Quarantine to be able to send announcements from Google Calendar, and we've also used it at Hack Quarantine to send out your workshop keys for any of the workshop speakers. And recently on the selfie channel, we can now get everyone's photos as a JPEG really, really easily. And then we can do stuff with that very easily without always have to go through manually and download all of them, and it just takes ages. So do one last example where I'm going to do starter packs. That one should work. There we go. Here's a starter pack one. So we can do quite literally anything in here. So that is all for my Discord bot workshop. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you've got any other questions or anything, do come and message me on Discord. More than happy to help. But I'd love to see what you guys get up to.